Hi, BookTube. So I know on my last book haul video, I said that I need to go on a book buying ban. And oh my goodness, is that true? Because I have one bookcase, and yeah, if I don't stop, I need to get another bookcase, which, that very might well be the solution here. I I got quite a few books over the Memorial weekend. It was my boyfriend's birthday, and so we checked out lots of like comic book shops and Powell's and bookstores galore. And so yeah, I picked up quite a few books there. But then on my walks with Fable, I can't help but pass or come across all these little free libraries, and a teacher must have been getting rid of some of her books in the classroom because a lot of them had like the last name of a person written on them. But I found quite the book haul there, and don't worry, I'm still like you take one, you leave one, and I'm a little bit in the negative here. I think I have like 5 or 6 books that I do need to like put in to compensate for the books I took out. But yes, so let's get into this haul. The first one is Wild in the City, a guide to Portland's natural areas. And I found this is like I'm going to do my purchases first, and then I'll get into the free library books. But I was watching, Miss Reads a lot, her channel, and she was talking about she has a hiking book that she was like ticking off all the different hikes in her area. And so I thought that was a great, it was on my mind when I went to the bookstores. And so it's a good idea for me because I'm new to Portland, and I know Portland has a ton of hikes in the area. And so not only in the area, but in the city itself, because this is all about the natural areas around here. I know there's 2 rivers that are kind of make a T in Portland, and so there's all sorts of areas to see. I've seen a couple like parks, and I've gone to like the Powell Buttes. There's like an overlook, like meadows and forest to hike through. But I'm just super excited. It's like there's like it talks about different parks, the activities there, the facilities it has, if there's any fees, and it has like a map of where to go with a description. And then, just access to it and like more information if you need like a website to it. And there's highlights, and so there's all sorts of things, including there's some pictures of a squirrel. So it's just like such a fun book to like scroll through and just pick, on a weekend or if I have time during the weekdays to make, a voyage out. And so this is like the Forest Park, like a famous park. It's really big. I've gone a couple of times there. Like Fable really likes going like walking in the forest. Like as the aforementioned squirrels, she really likes looking at them. I'm not letting her go and hunting for them, but I'm sure she would if I let her. And yeah, that's not gonna happen. But I then have, speaking of hikes, this is Portland Hikes by Art Bernstein and Andrew Jackman. This is day hikes in Oregon and Washington within 100 miles of Portland. So this is perfect for me. Because I don't really like doing long car trips. Like if I was, it'd be like I could venture out. But this is perfect, 100 miles around, which would be really fun. So this one, I just flipped to one like Ramona Falls. So this just gives you like the length of the hike, how difficult it is, the elevation, the season that's best to go visit. If there's water nearby, if there's a campground nearby. And then how popular it is, like how frequent, how many people are on the trail kind of thing, directions, and the description, and then there's like a map as well. So this is another like kind of book I can cross off as I do them. And then the last book with like hikes and like seasonal things, this is Oregon and Washington and British Columbia, a seasonal guide to the natural year, a month-by-month guide to natural events, and this is by James Luther Davis. And I don't know if I'm going to make my way up to British Columbia all the way up there, but this is perfect if I do. But this is like just basically what it says, like month by month. What is there to see, like in the wildlife, like flora and fauna, I believe, each month. So like I just flipped to July, and there's like summer salmon and trout season, and mountain goats, and like which areas in each state, if that's available to see it. There's like osprey and Queen Anne's lace, bats. So yeah, all sorts of stuff. This is gonna be so fun, like each month to dive in and like just to see. I mean, just to see like what the book offers, but also like going out myself and like actually seeing it. It's gonna be like great fun. I love it because like I love reading like natural history, but like nature writing books, and so it's just gonna be so fun to actually go witness them myself. And I've never been like a bird watcher person, but I can kind of see like the appeal of it. You know, like just seeing all these animals. So, like this book is like kind of giving me those vibes. I don't know if I'm gonna go into that like into that vein of bird watching, but yeah, it'll be fun. I then have books I purchased at Powell's, and this is At the End of the Santa Fe Trail by Sister Belinda Siegel. And this was like really intriguing me. I have one other New Mexico book on my shelf, but this is about it's a journal of a sister who she went to the Southwest in 1872 to 1892, and this is like it says an authentic piece of Catholic Americana revealing 20 years of struggle against lawlessness, mob rule, Indian threats, bigotry, and violence of all sorts. And so this is her journal, and she arrived in Trinidad, the territory of Colorado, and it takes off from there. And so, and here's a picture of her right here. So yeah, I'm highly intrigued by this book. The other book I have on New Mexico is I think like a journal, or it's written about a story of two women who made their way, I think it's to Santa Fe as well, or a town nearby. So that's kind of cool. I have another book. I probably want to read them back to back. Let's see. I then have Laura, The Life of Laura Ingalls Wilder by Donald Zockhart. And every time I go to a bookstore now, I am on the hunt to see if I can find the Laura Ingalls like family series. So like there's the Rose years, the Charlotte years, like her grandma, her mother, her daughter, that whole generation. And so I didn't see any on this trip, but I found this like biography, and I thought I would give it a shot. And so I've read a couple biographies of her. The best one was Prairie Fires, that I mentioned fairly recently. I don't have it on hand to pull out, but so yeah, I thought it'd be interesting just to read another take on her life and see what they have to say. And here's the author there. Is there any pictures or anything in here? Oh, yeah, there are some pictures. Okay. Let's see. So that's her daughter, Rose, and then this is Laura and Almanzo when they're quite older. Okay. And then I have Letters of a Woman Homesteader by Eleanor Pruitt Stewart. And this is takes place in Burnt Fork, Wyoming. That's a town name. I like that one. In 1909, and she took up homesteading herself to see if she, to prove that women can ranch. And this says, let's see, she's a former employer. Her love of nature, rhapsody to the world, her propensity for storytelling. Okay, so yeah, this is a journal that, and it's like the pages, like there's tons of like wide margins. This is probably really quick to go through, but yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this one as well. Is there a picture of the author here? Okay, yeah, I think it's the same as the front. So yeah. Okay, and then going to like a different kind of thing is these are books I picked up at Barnes & Noble, and this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, the manga classics edition. And so I picked those up because for Jane Austen July, I'm going to be reading Pride and Prejudice, and so I was thinking about reading, retellings or like spin-offs of it. But if I can read like a manga edition of it, then that would be equally as fun. And so yeah, I had to get this, and so yeah, I really liked this cover, and yeah, the drawing looks really good as well. And then I also found on the same table is Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery, the manga classic edition. And I've read a graphic novel of Anne of Green Gables, and I can't remember the author's name, but it was really pretty artwork. So like, and now they were like a comic book version. I can read the manga version. This is make me want to like go flying back to the series and rereading that, because I love, especially the first one is my favorite, and so yeah, I was happy to find this as well. So if I can find the pictures here, there's Marilla and Anne, and so yeah, it just looks like a lot of fun. I then have In by Will McPhail, and I've heard a lot of great things about this one, and I've already read this actually, but it flips between like black and white art, and then you'll have let's see if I find some colored artwork as well. And he wrote for the New Yorker. He's been writing for the New Yorker since 2014, and he's known for his like humor pieces. And this is the story of Nick, who he himself in the story, the character, is a artist, and he is struggling to connect to people. Like, you feel like, I don't know, it comes across as like he's living in his own bubble, and like even his like immediate family, he just has never been able to connect with them. So he's trying to make an inroads into truly connecting with people and not just having those like everyday conversations like, hi, how are you doing, that kind of thing. He actually wants to truly connect to people. And so yeah, this was a great read. And then the last graphic novel I have is Honor Girl by Maggie Thrash. And I heard about this a couple years ago on BookTube, actually, and it's been on my radar ever since. From what I remember, like briefly looking here, it's about a girl, Maggie, who, when she's 15 years old, she's going to a camp bellflower for girls, and I think this is like a queer story of her like falling in love, or like being attracted to her roommates in the cabin, something like that, I believe. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. When I heard about it on BookTube like years ago, I listened to the audiobook. For some reason, my library Hoopla had here, one second, Fable's like interested in the book now. I don't want her chewing on them again like she did one time before. But speaking, come here, Fable. I know the books smell good. You have your bone right here. Anyway, so my library had the audiobook, and so I listened to that, but I do actually wanted to, because it came out as, you know, a graphic memoir, so I did want to actually read it and see the pictures. And yeah, there is that one. I'm going to read it this month for Pride Month in June. So I can move these out of the way 1 second. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now they're out of her range where she cannot chew on them. Okay. Then I have, I found these two books by Melinda Curtis, Can't Hurry Love and A Very Merry Match. I've read, neither one of these actually. I read the like 0.5 book, which was called, and I thought this one was, it was a 0.5 book that I read, the novella, but it was called The Christmas Wish. And so that was 0.5 the one I read. This is book 1 and book 3, I believe, or I don't know, there's a couple like novellas in between. There's like a 1.5 Sealed with a Kiss that I need to pick up. Anyway, so I found these two, and so when I was at Barnes & Noble, I picked up, I don't know, I'm guessing this is book 3 or something like that, Dream a Little Dream. These are all a Sunshine Valley novel, and so they're all like, they're kind of like romance books. This is about Lola, who she gave up everything to marry Randy, and had a promising career in New York City. And then 1 year after 1 year of marriage and 1 year of widowhood, Lola finds herself stranded in Sunshine, Colorado, reeling from the revelation that Randy had secrets she never could have imagined. So yeah, this one looks interesting, and I like the cover. It's like the rainy day, like kind of like April cover. And it's like pouring down rain today. It was like really humid and muggy yesterday, which is surprising for this area, because I thought I left that behind in North Carolina, but I think it's because, like, you know, the late rain in June that's making it muggy. So I don't know if you might can hear the rain in the background. So like, this would be a nice book to pick up when it's raining. And then this one is a Christmas book, and this says the Sunshine Valley Widows Club is playing Secret Santa by giving 2 broken hearts a chance to heal. So yeah, this would be cool to read at Christmas. And then this one, Dream a Little Dream. I love the cover. I had a previous coworker, have one of these puppies. He had 2 of them, like an older one, and he got a puppy. And then so you could see it like get bigger. It has like kind of like bat ears. And of course, I can't remember what the name of this dog is. But I know they're kind of popular now. But yeah, I can't. It's like, yeah, I don't really. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about with this dog. If I can maybe make it a little bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, this one says, can he convince the only woman he's ever wanted that their love is worth a second chance? Darcy is thrilled to have finally shed her reputation as the girl from the wrong side of the tracks. The people of Sunshine Valley have to respect her now that she's now the new town judge. But when the bad boy who breaks her heart back in high school, shows up in her courtroom, she realizes maybe things haven't changed so much after all, because her pulse still races at the sight of him. So yeah, there's that one. And then the last new book that I purchased was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I mentioned, I think, in my last haul, I found the other two at a library sale, and so I wanted to get. I just need 1 and 3. I have 1 now, so I just need book 3, which is my favorite. Blue Lily Lily Blue is my favorite one. So yeah, I just need that one, and then I'll have the whole collection again. Okay, so now I'm going into my Little Free Library extravaganza epic haul. So I will start off with these Love Inspired. This is Christmas on the Ranch by Arlene James and Lois Richer. And then I have Christmas in the Air by Irene Brand and Dana Corbett. I just realized these both have 2 authors, so there might be... Okay, yeah. They both have 2 books within them, which are kind of short, so I think maybe they're like little like novelettes or something. The first one is Snowbound Holiday by Irene Brand. And then I have A Season of Hope by Dana Corbett. And this one is The Rancher's Christmas Baby and Christmas Eve Cowboy. So yeah, there's these 2. And I would have included these on my categorically romance reading readathon TBR, but they're Christmas books, so I want to save them for Christmas. I then have The Edge of Nowhere by Elizabeth George. I think I read 1 book by Elizabeth George, but I know she's a very prolific, great mystery author, and so I really liked the outline here of the trees. So yeah, this says well, I haven't pronounced this right. Whidbey Island, remote, wild, mysterious, is a place of secrets. Becca King has many. And so let's see. Yeah, this is a little pull out from the book, but there's a description here. It says Becca is on the run. Her ability to hear whispers, the thoughts of others, has put her at risk from her stepfather, whose criminal activities she's discovered. When she arrives on Whidbey Island, beautiful, wild, and a world apart, she embarks on a life very different from her old one, with new friends that include, and it goes on there, giving a list of her friends and descriptions. But this kind of sounds like a like paranormal in a way, with her being able to hear other people's thoughts. So yeah, we'll see what I think of this one. I think the other book I read about Elizabeth George didn't have that element in there. It was like kind of like a straight up mystery. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this one. I then have The Readers of Broken Wheel recommend a novel by Katrina Bivald, and this cover, and it seems like a book about books, I'm like immediately drawn to. And this says, once you let a book into your life, the most unexpected things happen. Broken Wheel, Iowa has never seen anyone like Sarah, who traveled all the way from Sweden just to meet her book-loving pen pal. When she arrives, however, she finds Amy's funeral guests just arriving. The residents of Broken Wheel are happy to look after their bewildered visitor. There's not much else to do in the dying small town that's almost beyond repair. You certainly wouldn't open a bookstore, and definitely not with the tourists in charge. You need a vacant storefront. The main street is full of them. Books. Amy's house is full of them. And customers. So yeah, book about book. Yeah, I can't say no to this one. Let's see. I then have The Secrets of Mary Bowser by Lois Levine. And this has like the French flaps and the deckled edges, and it's very, very floppy. And this one says, based on a remarkable true story, The Secrets of Mary Bowser is an inspiring tale of one daring woman's willingness to sacrifice her own freedom to change the course of history. So what history did she change? It says, all her life, Mary has been a slave to the wealthy Van Loo family of Richmond, Virginia. But when Bet, the willful Van Loo daughter, decides to send Mary to Philadelphia to be educated, she must leave her family to seize her freedom. So it's about her life in the North after a life of slavery. Let's see. I then have Lucia Lucia by Adriana Trigiani. And I read her, was it Big Stone Gap? Big Gap, something. I read that whole trilogy. See if it says it here. Yeah, Big Stone Gap trilogy. Yeah, Big Stone Gap, Big Cherry Holler, Last Moon. I read those 3, but I don't think I read anything else by her. And so this is like seems very different from that. It was like set in like the hollers of small town Virginia. And I love the cover. Like I recognized the author's name immediately, but the cover just drew me in. And this, it says it's 1950 in glittering, vibrant New York City. So yeah, that right there like sells it. if the cover doesn't. This is Lucia is the beautiful 25-year-old daughter of a prosperous Italian grocer in Greenwich Village. The post-war boom is rife with opportunities for talented girls with ambition. Lucia becomes an apprentice to an up-and-coming designer at the chic B. Altman department store on Fifth Avenue. So yeah, I'm sure it takes place from there. But yeah, so that makes kind of sense with her dress being like this fancy and chic that she is in design. So yeah, this looks like a ton of fun to read. Let's see. I then have See What I Have Done by Sarah Schmidt. I've read this book previously, and this is like kind of a retelling of Lizzie Borden. It says it's in August, on the morning of August 4th, 1892, Lizzie calls out to her maid, "Someone's killed father." The brutal axe murder of Andrew leaves little evidence of many unanswered questions, but those close to the family have stories to tell of a father with an explosive temper, a spiteful stepmother, and two spinster sisters desperate for their independence. Shifting among the perspectives of the unreliable Lizzie, her older sister Emma, the housemaid Bridget, and the enigmatic stranger Benjamin, the events of the fateful day are slowly revealed through a high wire feat of storytelling. So I read this when it first came out back in, was it like 2015 or 16, something like that? Let's see. It came out 2017. So yeah, I haven't read it since, and so yeah, I saw this and I immediately wanted to give it another try. I then have Therah Girl by Carolyn B. Cooney. This is kind of like another, like the theme I was reading before, like these 80s books that I was finding with like the apple cover, and so yeah, like I never read these. Like this was for sure I've never heard of it, but yeah, the cover just like I wanted to pick it up and like something I could read in an afternoon. I've never been a cheerleader, nor have I wanted to be one, but this is just like a lot of fun. What's wrong with being a cheerleader? Marcy's family is disgusted. Oh, okay, that's a strong reaction. When she decides that more than anything, she wants to be a cheerleader. And the harder Marcy tries to make the squad, the less understanding her family is. Anybody can be a cheerleader, can't they? Well, I don't know. It seems like a really lots of hard work. But let's see. Marcy's mother and father say cheerleading is nonsense. And then it goes on from there. But yeah, we'll see what I think of that one. And then I have a Louis Lamour, Kilo. And I've only read one or two Louis Lamour books, but like same with like me reading like westerns in the summer, the past however many summers with Larry McMurtry. I thought, why not read some Louis Lamour? And this is Don Kilo, over 6 feet of tough, raw, lightning-fast man. He had a trail herd and a mess of settlers to get across the unknown territory to new land. Then he gave shelter to a stranger being hunted by Felipe Soto, scar-faced leader of the renegade Comancheros. This time, Kilo was barring more trouble than he wanted to handle. And there's our Arthur there. And so yeah, this will be like a fun read. And then I have Trouble on the Books, a castle bookshop mystery by S.E. Lang. And this is a hardcover cozy mystery, which I don't often see. I often see them in the mass market paperback. But this is a rookie bookstore owner, Shelby Cox, must hit the books to learn the ropes before she loses a killer in the stacks. So yeah, cozy mystery, bookstore setting. Yeah, you can't go wrong. And then there is a cat with a skull on the cover here. So yeah, we'll see what this one is like. And then, so now I have the books that the seems like the teacher was getting rid of, because they all have this name like Armstrong somewhere. It's either on the cover, on the side, somewhere. And so yeah, I have a ton of Newbery books to add to my collection, because I'm reading through all of the Newbery winners and honor books chronologically. So I need to like rearrange my bookshelf to have them in the right order when I get to them. So this is from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Coningsburg. And I don't know, I have so many of these, but this is, let's see, I guess that's two. It says 30 years, 2 motion pictures, and millions of devoted fans later, this book remains a classic favorite. Okay, yeah, so I didn't know there's 2 movies on this. But, so maybe a lot of you know what this book is about, because I have no idea. It says Claudia knew that she could never pull off the old-fashioned kind of running away. So she decided to run not from somewhere, but to somewhere. Somewhere large, warm, comfortable, and beautiful. And that's how Claudia and her brother end up living in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and in the middle of a mystery that made headlines. So let's see. I then have Shadow of a Bull by Maya Wojciechowska. I know I butchered that name. Manola knows he is a coward. He is afraid of heights, cards, and bulls, especially bulls. But as the son of Juan Oliver, the greatest matador in Spain, everyone expects him to be a bullfighter. Now that he's 11, he must fight his first bull. And so that must be why there's a bull up here with a matador. So this is kind of different. I then have Mrs. Frisbie and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien. And I could have sworn, is this like, it's reminding me of some kind of like Disney movie or something that I saw as a kid. But, yeah, maybe it's a motion picture like the other one, I don't know. But this is Mrs. Frisbie, a withered mouse with 4 small children, is faced with a terrible problem. She must move her family to their summer quarters immediately or face almost certain death. But her youngest son lies ill and must not be moved. Fortunately, she encounters the Rats of Nim, an extraordinary breed of highly intelligent creatures who come up with a brilliant solution to her dilemma. So he has like different, people working together to help each other out. I then have Pictures of Hollis Woods by Patricia Riley Giff. And there's just a foot on the background. On the back cover. Is there a description here? It might not be. Yeah, there's no description at all. So, I have no idea what this is about, but we'll see. Maybe something to do with feet. Because it's like, all you see is like legs here and then a foot back here. I then have Sounder by William H. Armstrong. Oh, and Armstrong. At first I thought I read that wrong and I was reading the teacher's name, but no, it's the same right here. This is, let's see, it's a description. It's this trace, Sounder traces the keen sorrow and the abiding faith of a poor African-American boy in the 19th century South. The boy's father is a sharecropper, struggling to feed his family in hard times. Night after night, he and his great coon dog, Sounder, return to the cabin empty-handed. Then one morning, almost like a miracle, a sweet-smelling ham is cooking in the family's kitchen. At last, the family will have a good meal, but that night, an angry sheriff and his deputies come, and the boy's life will never be the same. So it's like, a young boy and the dog, but, facing adversity, with, the racist South, but, yeah. I've never read that one. I've heard of it, but, it's kind of, reminding me of, where the red fern grows in a way with, the little boy and the dog, and I don't know if that's a Newbery winner or not, but I'll find out when I come across that year. Let's see. I then have Bels Island by William Steig, and this, seems to be another book about a mouse, and this is whatever child, let's see, no, that's not the right description, okay, with an inimitable style, Steig tells the story of a mouse, Abelard Haysom de Chirico Flint, who gets swept away in a driving rainstorm while rescuing his wife's scarf, winds up stranded on a river island for a year. Abel just isn't any mouse. He's a fastidious Edwardian dandy whose inherited wealth ensures the leisurely comforts he takes such pleasures in, but Abel's high-toned life of leisure conceals a soul full of true grit. Once faced with the necessity of surviving, Abel rises to the challenge. So yeah, he's well off and used to the city life, I'm sure, and now he has to go out and fend for himself in the wilderness. Is what it's sounding like to me. Let's see. I then have The Whipping Boy by Sid Fleischman, and that's the title. So there's a bear and a man gripping 2 little boys, and the boys don't look happy about it. I don't know if it's just the bear or the guy. I don't know. It says A Prince and a Pauper. Jimmy, once a poor boy living on the streets, now lives in a castle as the whipping boy. He bears the punishment when Prince Sprat misbehaves, for it is forbidden to spank, thrash, or whack the heir to the throne. The 2 boys have nothing in common, even less reason to like one another. But when they find themselves taken hostage after running away, they are left with no choice but to trust each other. So yeah, he is taking them hostage and not being nice. So maybe the bear's rescuing them for all I know. Let's see. I then have The Family Under the Bridge by Natalie Savage Carlson. And this is pictures by Garth Williams. And I remember, is this the same illustrator for the Little House on the Prairie books, because I think Williams is ringing a bell. So let's see if there's some illustrations here. Yeah, there seems to be quite a few throughout here. And this is the family under the bridge. Once there was an old man named Armand who lived under a bridge in Paris. Everything he owned could be pushed around in an old baby buggy without a hood. It was easy for him to move from place to place. Armand loves his solitary, carefree life. Children, he said, were like starlings, and one was better off without them. But the children who lived on the bridge knew a true friend when they saw one, and even if that friend was a little bit grumpy to begin with. And it did not take Armand long to see he had gotten himself in a ready-made family, one he loved with all his heart, and one he would have to find a better home for than under the bridge. Okay, and then going to like the find of the day with these little free libraries. The first one is Dear Mr. Henshaw by Beverly Cleary, and this is a Newbery medal as well. And let's see, Dear Mr. Henshaw, I wish somebody would stop stealing the good stuff out of my lunch bag. I guess I wish a lot of other things too. I wish someday Dad and Bandit would pull up in front in the rig. Dad would yell out of the cab, "Come on, Lee, hop in, and I'll give you a lift to school." And so yeah, I've never read. I've actually for Beverly Cleary, I've read her 2 memoirs, and I've read most except one more book for the Ramona Quimby series, but I haven't read anything else. And so I have a couple other books on the shelf, and I can add this one to my list, and of course get to it when I get to this year in my Newbery reading. But then I have all of these let's see, all of these Ramona Quimby books, and so I have 2 of these, but like kind of like rough condition that I can replace and switch them out for these. So I have Ramona in the Past, Ramona Quimby Age 8, Ramona and Her Mother, and Ramona the Brave, and then I also have the one book. Let's see if I already put it on my shelf, but this is the one, my copy that I had. This, it's like bent and it's like old and like kind of ragged here, and so I have a better copy here, which is a little bit weird since like these are like from like his children's, I'm guessing a teacher's library, but I could be totally wrong. But these are like in really good condition, and so yeah, I have these, and then I saw this one I couldn't pass up. This is The Adventure of Wishbone, Huckleberry Dog by Alexander Steele, and so I remember loving this show as a little girl. What's the story, Wishbone? Like that whole introduction song just brings me back. And I saw this and I was like, I immediately had to pick it. I love Mark Twain's writing and Huckleberry Finn and Thomas Sawyer, and so yeah, I had to get something. And maybe I could see like YouTube has like the episode of this or something that I could watch along with it. I then have Into the Firestone Storm, a novel of San Francisco 1906 by Deborah Hopkins, and this cover just really drew me in. And I've read a couple of books on the big earthquake and the fires that ensued in San Francisco, but it's like a children's story of it, and so it became like a really quick read. And so yeah, there's that one. And then have Lois Lowry's Gathering Blue, a companion to the Newbery winner, The Giver. I've never read The Giver. I'm going to get to it eventually, and so now I have like a sequel to it. So let me know if any of you have read this sequel, because I didn't know there was one, but like I said, I've never read the book, so I don't know too much about it. But yeah, let me know what you think of this one. I then have Gary Paulson's Woods Runner. I really like almost all of Gary Paulson's work. His books, his nonfiction books, his book for children, his books for adults, and so I had to get this one. This is about 13-year-old Samuel, who lives with his parents on the edge of the wilderness in the British colony of Pennsylvania, a long way from the civilization of any town. He knows how to hunt and how to survive in the untamed forest that surrounds his home on the frontier, where it takes days for news to arrive. There are rumors that the American patriots have begun a bloody war against the English. To Samuel, the fighting in the cities and towns in the east seems far away, so I'm sure he's going to get drawn in there with that. But yeah, I'm used to reading books by Paulson that are about like nature, like fighting the elements, working with different animals and dogs in particular, and like survival, like Hatchet. But I haven't read, I don't think, any of his that like also have to do with history. So yeah, this is like a different book for me to read of his. And also, I really like this cover. If I haven't mentioned that already, except for the gun, I'm like really kind of hunting. But yeah, I understand why, especially back then. I did have Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, and I loved this movie as a kid. Oh my gosh, I always wanted a beagle to name it Shiloh. Like this, I loved this movie as a kid. And so I found this one and Saving Shiloh at this little free library. And so this is the conclusion. I think there's one other book in between, like there's like first and third. I think there's a second, I believe. This one right here might tell me. This was a bit rougher condition, but I couldn't pass it up. Let's see if it tells me somewhere on here. Maybe not. Oh yes, Shiloh Season is the second one. And then the last book is The Tiger Rising by Kate DiCamillo. And I have read a couple books by this author. She wrote like the Winn-Dixie something, like The Dog of Winn-Dixie, or where is there an author description here somewhere? It's something like, you know, because of Winn-Dixie. That's and then the other one is like about a mouse that I can't remember the name of it either. The Tales of Despero, The Rescue of Despero, something like that. Anyway, so I saw her name and I really wanted to get it. This is a story of friendship, freedom from America's beloved storyteller. It says, in one morning, Rob discovers a tiger in a cage and a girl who speaks her mind. It's then that he begins to understand that some things, like memories and heartaches and tigers, can't be locked up forever. So yeah, there's that one. So these are all the books. I cannot do a compile or anything of the sort, but I have so many books to try and like manage to squeeze them in here some way. But if not, yeah, I might have to get another bookcase and like, I'm gonna put like kitty corner to this one. Because I can just move her bed over a little bit, and then I can't take her bed out together. She needs to be right over here because there's not much other space around her to put her. And yeah, she needs to be in the background of the videos, of course. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.